Artificial intelligence has entered the public consciousness.
Microsoft just announced ChatGPT is now an option on its Bing search engine,
with the consequences of such a technology being predicted to be quite dire.
If you look at how farming was done historically and how it's done today, those are mechanical devices that are helping us out a lot. If you look at what a telephone operator used to do or what a typist used to do, we are proceeding to replace all sorts of rote labor with robots.
With the rate of development no one truly understands.
AI is much more advanced than people realize, and the pace of progress is much greater than people realize,
making the potential uses of this technology quite frightening.
The primitive forms of artificial intelligence we already had have proved very useful. But I think the development of full artificial intelligence could spell the end of the human race.
Let me explain why. Artificial intelligence is here to stay. Our relationship with technology has been one of the defining elements of our species. We are blessed with the ability to recognize patterns and use these patterns to create abstract ideas and apply these abstract ideas onto an ever-changing, ever more complex world. As a result of this innate ability, we have transformed many aspects of our world to fit our innate desires, resulting in an age in which war, famine, and disease is relatively uncommon in many lands, which is a historical anomaly. Using this collective knowledge to empower us in ways that was unthinkable a couple of generations ago. Which brings us to today, a time in which our forms of technology have become so productive that they've also become disruptive. I'm talking about a little form of technology called artificial intelligence. I'm talking about programs such as OpenAI's ChatGPT and AI Art. Programs that have been in the news recently due to the fact that they have the potential to put hundreds of thousands of people out of work, marking the beginning of what could be a trend in other industries, as the underlying technology could be applied to many low-skilled, low-effort jobs, in which many people rely on it as a source of income in order to sustain themselves. In this environment, very, very few things are certain, even from the people who invented the technology itself. Governments, firms, people like you and I will have to come to terms with this fundamental reality. A reality in which our relationship with our work has been fundamentally altered. A reality filled with uncertainty. A future in which the things that we create end up replacing us. Let me explain why AI is inevitable. The first computer program was invented by Alan Newell, a well-respected researcher, computer scientist, and psychologist, Cliff Hsu, a political scientist, and Herbert Simons, a system programmer at RAND Corporation. They invented a program called Logic Theorist that was designed to solve complex mathematical problems. With the backing of RAND Corporation, the program was presented at Dartmouth as a summer research project in 1956. Though simple in form and generally unintelligible, this program is considered to be the first form of artificial intelligence created through computers. This began a renaissance of technological innovation as academics, governments, and futurists created more and more advanced forms of artificial intelligence, as the potential of the medium was recognized immediately as a disruptive innovation bound to change the world. This resulted in rapid developments in the computational power of many devices, with the speed of development being incomparable to most other industries. Programs with the ability to beat world-renowned chess players. Computers with the ability to learn through recognizing patterns in sounds and pictures given to it. Furbies. Robots that recognize and emulate human-like emotions. Machines built to tackle the road without a driver at its wheel. Computers with the ability to stomp Jeopardy veterans. Calculators that replace personal assistants. CPUs that could learn from a never-ending stream of images, PCs that could replace your wife, and much, much more. All these developments have been rapid in their implementation, and in some cases, revolutionary in their outcomes. But alas, revolution has never been met with open arms by all who are affected. The reason for public disdain for the advancement of such a technology is quite simple. There are two main reasons AI is controversial. One, it has the potential to replace many jobs in an economy that were once filled by humans. And two, AI has the ability to act in a way so complex that the behavior of the program is inherently unpredictable. On the side of potential economic consequences, researchers estimate that over 30% of all jobs within the population have a high likelihood of AI being a major displacement force within their industry. That's approximately 99 million Americans who have to worry about the potential impacts of the ever-increasing ability of this form of technology, with many more being displaced once we account for our globalized economy. On the other side of the equation, the potential financial gains of such displacement is an enticing proposition for those who own businesses that produce the wealth that is used to make society function, making the adoption of such a technology inevitable due to the potential for AI to cut costs through replacing workers, streamlining processes, and reducing operational risks. In the long run, this could be a disaster though, that could lead to societal unrest, increased unemployment, financial practices that are designed with the end consumer in mind less and less, and potentially a rogue program, the likes of which will be better than any human being at completing its tasks. The prospects of such a doom and gloom future makes a political solution likely. So what have our governing class done about this problem? So far, on a federal level, we have not seen any major regulations on how AI can be produced and distributed, with most of the rules being how governing officials interact with the tool, as these people are trusted with sensitive information that some forms of technology cannot be trusted with. On a state level, the protections against the emerging technology seems to be slightly more prominent, as 15 states in the Union have some form of regulation on how AI can be used within the borders of their land, with states such as Colorado, Illinois, Maryland, New Jersey, New York, Rhode Island, and Vermont having dedicated task force and commissions to oversee the development of facial recognition programs, software design, and AI in general. Efforts in the states such as California have given extra attention to deepfakes and is in the process of developing mechanisms to spot them. Illinois requires employers to give up demographic data to the states for any employment process that heavily relies on the use of AI from the interview process in order to scan for racial bias. Most other legal processes have tightly supported and funded the creation of AI, meaning currently there is more of a push to produce these types of technologies than there is an oversight of these technologies. Simply put, artificial intelligence will become an ever more present component of our lives. The explanation for why this may be the case is that no one knows how to properly control the development of such a technology, as the field of research is a new emergent one. The next coming year, let alone the next coming decade, are uncertain to all but those who are experts personally forging the future using their knowledge of the field. As mentioned before, the prospects of the technology having the ability to revolutionize the way we do work is one that could be great fortune if developed properly. And the people with the most knowledge on the potential downsides of such an event are also the ones that already have their own projects underway. With a barrier of entry for using this form of technology being a $100 Chromebook, access to a library internet service, and the time and effort of seeing the project through. A process that can be quite lucrative if the task is given to the right people. Prime examples being Facebook, Amazon, and for the more devious amongst us, Silk Road. The process of creating an environment in which we could slowly develop the technology would be draconian in essence, requiring 24/7 monitoring of all devices, and possibly a ban on coding to automate a process outside of those that are licensed, which will still have problems with properly defining the bounds of what is considered dangerous AI versus a basic productivity tool is unclear. With such strict requirements to resolve the issue, it is more likely that a mega EMP wipes out the infrastructure holding together the worldwide net than it is for such a momentous task to be accomplished. As of now, the sheer potential of artificial intelligence seems to be something that is enormous in its scope and dire in its consequences. Let me pose a counter to all the chatter that is going on about the technology, and I will do this through a historical reference. 19th century Britain, a time of great change. The steam engine made trade of goods possible through the use of trains. Women's suffrage gained the momentum to give them comparable rights to those of their male counterparts. People went from the squalor of subsistence farming to the joys of working 8 hours a day in a factory. Slavery was abolished, the middle class was growing, and colonialism was in full gear. A simpler time, some may say. Through all this, the historical gains of such innovations resulted in historians labeling this time as the Industrial Revolution. Though life was getting better for the average man, and much better for those sitting at the upper echelons of society, all was not well. The invention of textile machines resulted in efficiency gains in the production of textiles, resulting in skilled weavers who dedicated possibly decades of their lives to the craft became obsolete, resulting in mass layoffs. In retaliation, the former workers organized into a movement named after Ned Ludd, a man who, more likely than not, was a piece of folklore, nevertheless was credited with being responsible for destroying 2 knitting frames in a fit of passion as a result of being mistreated by his boss. This smashing of industrial machinery was adopted as an operational principle of the movement and resulted in British governments dispatching 12,000 troops to deal with the incident, which all culminated in a trial at York in 1813. Today's leaders have many incentives to not be as confrontational with his citizens, but still face similar pressures. The reduction in available jobs had no impact on how the future of the British economy would unfold, as most economists believe that up to this day, technology has, if anything, been a net positive on the creation of jobs. Though AI has the potential to disrupt more industries than a textile machine would dream of having the capacity of. In the end, the technology will likely be an aid to our productive activities, more so than an all-out replacement of our roles in society. For those who it does replace, new jobs are created to account for these changes. And for the potential of AI to become rogue, I have no solution at all, honestly.